American Craftsman podcast is sponsored by Hayfla. Hayfla offers a wide range of products and solutions for the woodworking and furniture making industries, from hinges and drawer slides to connectors and dowels, sandpaper, shop carts, wood glue, and everything in between. Exclusive product lines such as Lux LED lighting and Slido door hardware ensure that every project you create is built to last. Learn more at hayfla.com.
Wow, I feel good.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to move these cables around because that's quite a stretch to fade in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're here on Thanksgiving Eve. And this is, I guess you call it the Black Friday episode.
Yeah, definitely.
This will be out on Black Friday.
It's weird how fast everything goes.
I know. You know, it's going to be Christmas in the blink of an eye.
Because, everything on TV is Black Friday, this and that. And I was like, man, is it really that soon?
Yeah, Black Friday has really lost its legitimacy. Like,
right.
There used to be real deals and stuff, but now it's all BS, I feel like.
Yeah, the Black Friday begins soon now.
Yeah, and the sales aren't as good, and a lot of times they're manufacturing these things specifically for Black Friday. So the TV that you're buying for, $199 is really not the $499 TV. It's one that they made with cheaper crap or the tool or whatever,
Yeah. All right. Good old consumerism.
Yep. So yeah, we're waiting on the dumpster to get picked up.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're off for 5 days.
That's going to be glorious. We deserve it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
We kind of did a minor recap last week when we had John Peters on.
Yep.
Went through everything. But since then, we've even been out of the shop. We went down and did the spray day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, John was here, Wednesday last week? What did we do for those 2 days?
Were we working on Opal?
Oh, so Thursday you went to White Opal.
Oh, that's right.
I stayed back and kept working on those compact laminate cabinets, which thank God they're out of the shop. They're not fully installed yet, and we'll get to that. And then Friday, same thing, just working on White Opal, the salon that we're currently wrapping up.
Did John come by on Friday, or was that Monday?
That was
did we do
Monday.
Yeah. When did we? Yeah, we did the router bit.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how we wrapped up last week. Just plugging away on this salon, and we're pretty close to done. I'd say we're about 90%, 95%.
Yeah.
Just a couple more things to wrap up on that and install, which is good because we got to get that done. Get on to the other work we have in the book. So then Saturday, we left the shop about 7:30 and headed down to New Doors / United Finishes in Berlin, New Jersey, which is down in like the Mount Laurel, Voorhees area, sort of southwest.
Yeah.
New Jersey.
About an hour and a half.
Yeah. Exit 4 on the turnpike. So shot down the turnpike, and that was great. That was, I wish there were more things like that to attend. Because like for the cost, like even if you just pick up one small tip,
yes,
and you're a business owner, it's totally worth the money. Whatever it was, like $275, something like that, $285. You go down, you get they had breakfast, they had lunch. We left with with 3 T-shirts, all kinds of stuff.
Crazy swag, homemade lunch.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Aside from all that, if you pick up one thing, even if it's just like a sanding tip,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to make that back tenfold, more, 100-fold.
Yeah, it's nothing like hands-on learning with a good instructor.
Yeah. So that was Nate. I don't know if it's Olean.
Yeah, I would say Olean.
Yeah.
But I don't know at all.
Yeah. So he's Nathan _Olean, OLEAN, painting _ painting on Instagram, I believe is the correct handle.
Yep,
And
that's it.
And his that's your phone. I was like, what the hell is that? His employee Phil was there with him as well. I believe they're just a 2-man team.
Mm-hmm.
And they're professional finishers. You know, he has a shop where they spray, they're contract finishers for other people. And I think maybe he does like refinishing on his own as well. Like, you could call him and say, hey, I want to refinish my kitchen cabinets, and they'll come and take them down and refinish them. So they were the main instructors of the class, along with Chris and Dan from New Doors United Finishes, and the guys from, or two of the guys from General Finishes Enduro were there, Tim and Mike.
Yeah.
Skylar from Surf Prep was there. And I think that was it in terms of
vendor representation.
Yeah. So the event was, I guess, sponsored by obviously United Finishes, New Doors, Surf Prep, Apollo Sprayers, Big Kid Blocks, Enduro / General Finishes / Enduro. I don't know if I'm trying to think of what was on the t-shirt. And was that everybody?
Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah. So yeah, they took us through. We were able to tour the New Doors facility, see how they're making the doors.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, Chris gave a little demo on sort of, because the main audience were, residential cabinet refinishers was really like what these guys' main gigs were. So he gave a little demo on sort of how they could utilize New Doors to their advantage, where, instead of going and refinishing these crusty old golden oak doors, you could just
arch top.
Give the client really what they want, which is a completely new look, quickly,
fresh,
cost effectively. And, they show up primed. All you got to do is, shoot your top coat and finish your frames on site, and you're good to go. And how really, if you look at the financials of the whole thing, it actually works out to be, almost a break even to do new doors versus refinishing old doors. Which makes me want to like start offering cabinet refinishing, because it just seems like easy money to me.
Yeah.
Or refacing, I should say, not refinishing.
Right. Replacement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, New Doors will even shoot top coat for you.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how the cost breaks out on that.
Yeah. What was his name? Guy there at the end who lost his sprayer.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what he does. He has New Doors.
Yeah. I don't remember that guy's name.
Yeah. Was it Derek?
He was in, I don't think he was in my group.
Okay. Yeah, he was in my group.
He had it was almost like a Donkey Kong logo.
Yeah.
It was like Donkey Kong, like spraying paint.
Yeah.
Surprise to us, Jackie and Tiago from Timber were down there. So Timber, we had Walter Peters on, John Peters' son, back in season 3. That's where Walter works. So I guess he had caught wind of the event through us and then put a bug in their ear, and Timber sent them down.
Yeah, that was a nice surprise.
Yeah. Jackie ended up winning the Golden Door Award.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, aside from, the tour and basically a demo on how, how you could use new doors, we had pre-primed doors, and they took us through prepping the door, and then we shot Did we shoot primer? We shot primer on a raw door.
Primer, yeah.
And then we top coated the door that we had, sanded. Unbeknownst to us, they were planning this competition where at the end they actually had Nate, Skylar, and
was it Chris? Was he part of it?
Either Chris or Dan. They judged these. How many were there? 12?
I think there were
13.
Yeah.
So yeah, we should say that there was like about a dozen attendees. So a nice small, and we were split into two groups. They did a blind judging of these dozen or so doors, and chose the winner for the Golden Door, which was Jackie from Timber. And second place,
shocker of all shockers,
was Greene Street's own Rob Barone. So Keansburg, New Jersey wins number 1 and number 2. And it was like super close. They had to actually take the doors. They like looked everything over, and then they went privately and discussed it. And then they had to come back in and grab the doors and look at them. And so it was close.
It's funny because we were both sort of like gabbing more than sanding.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew my door needed more prep work, but I was like, yeah.
It was funny. I sanded like the panel because we're using hand, basically mostly hand tools or whatever, hand sanding around the edges and stuff. And I was waiting they had a couple 3x4 surf prep sanders, but there was only 2. So I was waiting, and Nate comes over. He's like, how you looking? I'm like, oh, pretty good. And then he like feels the door. He's like, I think you need to, hit this a little bit more, being like super nice. And I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, I didn't even sand any of this yet. Like, if you think that I would have thought that this was sanded.
Because one thing we've done is sanded.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was a good time.
It was. The food was great. We made some good relationships, new relationships.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, even the folks at Timber, we'd really not met.
No.
And so we have that thing going for us now.
Yep.
Of course, Nathan and Phil.
Yeah.
And sort of built upon the relationship we have with Chris and Dan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, overall, very good event. Yeah. It was an all-day affair. We, basically left at 7:30, got back to the shop at 7:30. And I won the Big Kid blocks in the raffle. So they raffled off an Apollo 7700 atomizer gun, a set of Big Kid blocks. So I won that, and that was like, I don't know, half a dozen pieces or so. The Big Kid blocks are these laser cut acrylic sanding blocks they actually have hook and loop on them, but you can take that off also and just use PSA sandpaper. And a bunch of different shapes, like a 3x6, a 2x5, a round, like a 2-inch round, a triangle, a little like a rectangle with a delta N kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the one we like, I think, the most.
Yeah. Some small, they're really good for sanding panels, sanding edges, stuff like that. Just because that was one of the main things that Nate and Phil emphasized was not sanding for smooth, but sanding for flat.
Yeah.
Because, that's how you get the best look on your finishes. It has to be smooth, but it also has to be flat.
Yeah, didn't they say something like smooth is the result of flat or something like that?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, we were split up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep forgetting.
So yeah, they raffled off the big kit blocks, the spray gun. What else? I feel like there was another couple like bigger things. Bunch of hats. You won a hat.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everybody
got a hat.
Got something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought there was another big. Was it a surf prep?
Yeah. There was the one. It was one. There was the demo surf prep.
Yeah,
sander.
yeah. That guy that was in my my group got that. So yeah, 3x4 surf prep sander. Not as good as a Unita, but pretty good.
Yeah, we were throwing the barbs, and not barbs, but we were throwing them out the little comments here and there.
Yeah. So yeah, this is, man, my mind's shot. So we ended up leaving with an Apollo sprayer.
Yeah.
Apollo turbine. We from like the beginning, as soon as the turbine was broken out, I'm like, oh damn. I'm like, what are you guys selling that demo unit for at the end of the class?
Mm-hmm.
And I kept prodding at he and Chris, and
yeah, it's a nice unit.
Yes, we left with an Apollo Precision 5 Pro LE, I think it's called.
Yeah,
it's a 5-stage turbine with the 7700 atomizer gun, and it's a top cup setup. We got the PPS, bought the PPS adapter so we can keep using PPS cups, which will be nice because it doesn't seem like we need to use a pressure cup anymore with this Enduro, which I don't know. I'm actually wondering if that was the source of the issue because we're sort of pushing it more with a pressure cup.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the cleanliness of the air was...
Yeah, that was definitely a big thing. That was the main reason was, having water in the lines. And I'm not sure that ever really, how long does it take for that to dry up? So even if you got your air, our air was super wet because of all the use of the compressor between the laser and the Dynabrade. And we don't have a dryer, just some water separators. Even if we now have stopped using those as much because of just the workflow, how long does it take for the moisture to get out of all the lines that already have moisture in them?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Dan, I think, said something to me about how quickly it builds.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to trying that new unit out.
Yeah. Got a bunch of stuff that we plan on spraying coming up. I mean, basically plan on spraying everything from here on out.
Yeah.
The vesting was great in the old shop. It was great here before we had the booth, but there's a reason that sprayed finishes are, predominantly used because they're fast and they're good. And, that was that lady from that magazine.
Oh,
she wants to come and interview us in like the fall. We were in wood review or wood shop review.
I don't remember the name of it. I'd never heard of it.
Some kind of magazine for winning the Streebig. Seems like it's kind of like one of those pay to play magazines, because all the articles were like, this brand says, whatever. But, whatever. I mean, I guess that's all magazines. But they ran a little article about the Streebig contest, and they reached out for some additional comments to us, and they said they want to come interview us in the fall. So that'll be cool.
Yeah.
What the hell were we talking about? The sprayer?
Yeah, we were talking about sort of shifting over from the wipe-on finishes to spraying.
Yeah, vesting, great finish, looks great, feels great, but it's just very time-consuming. So think about the amount of time it takes to, let's say you got a tabletop, and it's 3 feet by 6 feet. You have to wipe the finish on, or, apply the finish, buff it in, wipe it off, cure it, sand it, repeat.
3 times.
3 total coats. The time it takes to just spray that top and set it off to the side, these water-based finishes dry in, about an hour tops. They're ready for recoat in an hour, as long as the shop isn't 50 degrees. And going to be a little bit more durable, going to be a little bit more water resistant. So it's a good option overall.
Yeah. I think you summarized it well when you say that this is what a production shop uses.
Right.
For many reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's really doing hand applied finish.
No. I'm kind of kicking myself now because I have some panels in my kitchen that I did with vesting.
Thinking about maybe redoing them.
Yeah, I don't know how hard it would be to get all that off.
It's not easy.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's only 4 doors or so that I have finished. And I'm not worried about the inside, just the outside. So maybe with some diligent scraping. Only thing is it's veneer and the vesting is inside of it.
Yeah.
But I could always spray on top and see what happens.
True. It's a good test case.
Yeah. I mean, we got a bunch of vesting too that could get used. So yeah, we got a new sprayer. Monday, Sunday, Adam came from 3 Dot and picked up the boxes. So all the boxes are officially out of the shop.
Yeah, I've seen his Instagram posts. He's busy printing labels, putting them in boxes.
Yep. So we're glad to see those gone. That was the worst of the 3. Well, I don't know. The first one was probably the worst.
I think
hard to remember.
It was the schedule, I think, that we had to keep that compounded it.
Yeah. Just coming off of being really busy, getting into that, being behind, having a, just really bust ass to get them out was a lot. My hands, every morning,
they still hurt,
killing me. And I'm just still so tired. I just can't shake it.
Yeah, this rest will do you right. Me too.
Yeah, hopefully. I think we should take some time, though. Thank one of our new sponsors.
It's a good idea.
Ridge Carbide. When you need the right saw blade for the job, put your trust in Ridge Carbide tools.
Yeah, for over 50 years, Ridge Carbide's been producing industrial saw blades designed with exact specifications for the cutting results you expect.
Before you buy, call us and we'll help determine the right tool that meets your needs and your budget.
Yeah, and after the sale, Ridge Carbide provides sharpening services for all your saw blades, dado sets, router bits, and your jointer and planer knives.
Located in Kansas, Ridge Carbide Tools provides high-quality products with outstanding customer service at a fair price.
So what are you cutting?
That's the question. You tell them and they'll tell you what you need. Paul and everybody over there, extremely helpful. We've reached out to them before for advice and they've been great. So definitely good customer service. Ridge Carbide's a big, well-known company, but still that small feel, when you call. And I remember first time I called, who do I get on the phone? Is Paul, the owner of Ridge Carbide. So
I know you text me. I just was talking to Paul, the owner of Ridge Carbide.
Oh, well, yeah, that was in regards to the podcast, but going back a couple years ago, calling about some sharpening and stuff. It's like Paul is the guy who answered the phone.
Oh, when our blades.
Yeah. So when I think we talked about it when Paul bought Ridge Carbide, Paul was the owner, was and is the owner of Everlast Saw, which is an industrial saw blade manufacturer who was making some blades for Ridge Carbide for a long time. When he acquired Ridge Carbide, we had sent our blades to New Jersey to be sharpened by Ridge Carbide, and somewhere in between there they had been acquired by Everlast, so our blades were sort of in limbo because they went from New Jersey to Kansas, and we didn't know what was going on because it had been a couple weeks or something. So I called up and got Paul on the phone and talked to him for a little bit.
Yeah, and they had a huge backlog because of it too, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like we said last week, we got a shop full of their blades here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we're not, and, we purchased them. We're not just shills.
Right, yeah, they're all basically Ridge Carbide and Everlast.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Monday we wrapped up a couple little things for the salon, and yesterday, which was Tuesday, we went over there and started to install the backwash station. I think they're calling it.
Yeah.
It's basically where they shampoo the hair, where the sinks are, and that's what we're using all that compact laminate for. So this is an expansion of an existing salon into the adjacent space to where they are now. So basically, we're just matching everything to what was already built. Now, originally, they built this backwash station out of just laminate, and apparently it did not last very long. So they had to rebuild it, and they used the compact laminate because I guess somebody recommended it.
I was going to say, I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know
if
that was Fez or what, because I don't think Fez sells Starboard, do they?
I don't know what, that the only time I really Atlantic. Used it was with Tom.
I think it comes from Atlantic. Well, when you had to get pricing on it, where'd you get it from?
it was either Atlantic or Fez.
Yeah.
I think it was Atlantic because
yeah,
Fez was the first call, I think, and it wasn't through them.
It was probably the only option. It was probably the only product that Fez had that sort of fit the bill. And if you call and ask a vendor for something, they're just going to tell you what they have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they'll sell
they're
you
not going to be like, "Wow, we have this," but it's really going to be a pain in the dick.
Which
and
it was
$22 a square foot. So the guy who built the other one must have had a CNC, because that's really the best way, I think, to cut this stuff, because you can really, you turn your feeds and speeds way down, go multiple passes to get down through it. It's really not something that's cut well with traditional, circular tools. Carbide blades. Because I tried several blades, the blade geometry and everything that was recommended by Wilson Art, and it just cut like garbage. So I'm really not super satisfied with how it came out, because we had areas of blowout and chip out and stuff that had to sort of be feathered in. But luckily it's mostly just a carcass to house plumbing, and the guest side is all stone, basically. So the only people that will see the back side of the doors where we got the blowout and stuff is, are the plumbers and maybe some of the stylists. If for some reason they have to get inside of there, but
yeah, they're not going to notice anything.
No. So a learning experience. We won't, if that comes across the desk again, we will protest.
We will suggest several other options.
Yeah, I mean, AZEC would have been so easy. Starboard, same thing. I mean, I think it's like, fix it at the source. Like, why is the sink leaking all the time?
Right.
Because, my sister-in-law owns a salon, and, my wife works there, and they've both been doing it for over 20 years, nearing, I wouldn't say nearing 30, but over 20 years. And I'm like, do you guys like sinks leak all the time? And they're like, no. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So I don't know if it just has to do with whatever types of sinks they use. They're like, I think they're articulating. I don't know if it's a bad sink, if it's a bad plumber, if it's just the design does not lend itself to being non-leakable. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like it was a plumbing issue and not a millwork issue.
Yeah, I mean, laminate, just like plain TFL, is probably not a good choice anyway, just because it's a wet environment. But using 1/2-inch compact laminate is just a pain. AZEK would have been the easiest thing, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, we couldn't even get that fully installed because some of the plumbing was in a bad spot. We had checked it, but I don't know what happened. 2 of the supply lines needed to be moved over, but it should just be like 45 minutes for this plumber to. Thing that's probably going to take him the longest is getting the water out of the lines.
Yeah,
so that he can cut it. But it's all PEX, so they just got to do like a little bit of a 90. Couple 90s, and they'll be where they need to be. We'll bring them up into one of the cabinets, the middle sink base, and then they can tee out of there and feed the other two sinks. They have individual drains, but there's only one. There's 4 supply lines. I don't know why, but I don't know.
It's an interesting arrangement
for volume. If it was just one hot, one cold, it might not have the volume to handle 3 sinks.
Yeah, that's a good point. Although, I mean, what do you do in your house?
Do 1 and then 2?
Yeah.
Well, you never have 3 sinks in one room.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, like if you're taking a shower upstairs and doing laundry or whatever.
Well, yeah, but the bathroom's being fed by a
different line,
3/4 inch line or something. Yeah. I mean, I know in my house, because it's old, that like if you're taking a shower upstairs and I'm washing the dishes downstairs, that we're both going to have less water.
Yeah. The way my house is plumbed, that shower downstairs is really affected by the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
So I always tell my wife, I'm going to take a shower. Don't play with the water.
Yeah, don't turn the hot water on.
So... yeah, it's funny, the idiosyncrasies of a house and the plumbing and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we couldn't finish installing that. I mean, we left about 2:30.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're there at 8:00. It took me all that time just to install one sink base, screw the pilasters to the other sink base, and skeletonize the bottoms of the 3 of them because that material is just so brutal.
Drilling those holes,
Yeah. It's like Corian, where you can't cut a square corner because it's liable to crack. So I had to, drill 4 holes and then connect the dots to cut out the bottoms. And I was using an 11/16 twist bit because it was just something that we had that we were never going to use. I knew it was going to get destroyed. And I sharpened it before we even came. I hit it on the 1,000 grit stone, and I had it sticky sharp. And, it was probably a good 5 minutes per hole to drill the hole with a ton of pressure. Putting my full body weight of 200 plus pounds on there.
Your hand was all red.
Yeah, because I'm just pushing down on the back of the drill so hard. Cutting it with the jigsaw wasn't too bad, using a metal jigsaw blade. I only used 2 blades to cut the 4 bottoms, so it cuts pretty well with the jigsaw. And then you got the bench all wrapped up.
Yeah, the bench, the long top, couple of panels.
Yep.
Finished the station drawers.
Yep. Yeah, so all we got left is like what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fillers. I think we got to put some cleats in those 2 esthetician rooms or whatever they are, treatment rooms.
Yeah.
The countertop.
Yeah, I think those get along where it goes to the wall.
Yeah, there's like that 26-inch space.
Yeah.
We got those. Got to make 2 end panels.
Do the esthetician rooms get end panels on that? Because we have 2 panels that seem to fit that description, but
I don't know. We could always put them in, and then I don't know what they plan on putting in there, if anything.
Yeah,
maybe like a hamper. Jacqueline just texted me. You guys at the shop today
for the next 15 minutes
for another half hour. So yeah, we got that. Some end panels. We got to make new end panels for the little front reception area because we had to shim.
Yeah.
To get the front of the cabinets coplanar, I had to shim them out like 5/8 off the wall or something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened on almost all the cabinets.
Yeah. We have 2.5 sheets or so of that material, so that's not a big deal. I'm going to drop off that cabinet.
She wants to bring that cabinet over. Yeah, we're cutting down in some form or fashion a cabinet. Jacqueline.
Yeah, I can open the door remotely. Oh yes, we got that stuff. We got a mic at the shelves.
Yeah,
and wrap up the backwash thing and make one more countertop for the little like break area.
Oh yeah. I really keep forgetting about that.
So that's pretty simple. It's just got like a little jog, but we'll just cut that. We'll leave it a little bit big. We'll make a template on site and cut that on site. And then we're out of that one.
Did Lindsay say anything about what was that? The arch brow or something like that to you? She was I forgot to ask her about it.
Oh, it's like an eyebrow.
Yeah.
No. We're gonna be doing a banquette, like a 24 foot 8 banquette. Looks like with Lindsay for a coffee. Is it a coffee place? Yeah, I think so.
She wants that channel back on it.
We're not having anything to do with that. But yeah, channel back and a cushion. Let's see, what did it? I think it was like a cold brew or something, wasn't it?
I could go for some cold brew.
Yeah, it's if it's the same place, California Cold Company Coffee. This one's in Manalapan. Yeah, this has got to be this Manalapan, but they're opening another location. I mean, they must have hot coffee too.
Yeah,
because you can't drink cold coffee all year long.
No, I'm not sure how they heat it up even after because I'm trying to think, did I have a cold brew coffee that was hot? Is that go against
that
it?
Defeats the purpose. Yeah. I mean, they probably just have both hot coffee and cold brew coffee.
Yeah, because it's like infused or something like that, right? When it's cold, they let it drip through.
You just let
slow process.
Yeah, you just let it sit with the grounds for an extended period of time, then you filter it out. It's whatever. Maybe it's supposed to be less bitter or something.
Less acidic.
Something like that. Which acid is that's like the nice part about coffee is the acid. I like less acid or more acid, less bitter. So yeah, I'll be doing a banquette, it looks like, waiting on finished choice for that. That's like, they need that like tomorrow kind of thing. We got the oak pieces that we were talking about. Get started on those next week, first thing. I know that that client's pretty anxious. That should be a pretty straightforward build. Getting back to our roots, just solid oak doors and end panels and stuff like that.
The bleacher parts came in today.
Oh yeah, we're building a table and 4 stools out of some Notre Dame redwood bleacher pieces.
Yeah, little chunks.
Yeah. So that should be cool. That'll have like a pipe, gas pipe base that we're buying, is what the client was looking for. And they'd like to get that done before the holidays. We have the Historical Society.
Solid.
Display cabinets. We're waiting to get paid on that. They were like, "Oh yeah, so once you're done, you sign this thing, and then the town will pay you." I'm like, yeah, no, that's not gonna work that way. So they're supposed to be cutting us a check and then get reimbursed by the town. So yeah, we've got a lot going on. Got a lot of feelers out there, and
Christmas will be here before we know it.
Yeah,
man, yeah, because it's like. Well, this year it's like a month, I guess, between. Sometimes it's only like 3 weeks, good 3+ weeks between the holidays, it seems.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's always at least like about 4 weeks.
Does this November have an extra week in it or something like that?
This 5 weeks this month.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say is definitely want to thank our third sponsor, Unita.
Yeah.
I've been using that 3x4 sander a lot. And something I found it's really good for is because you're not dealing with like that aggressive rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the compact laminate, yesterday morning I was prepping the little toe kick pieces. So they're just like 1/2 inch by 4 by, had 3 at 17 and 2 at 14. So I had to hit the edges a little bit on the edge sander, and then I, tip them up to get just to break the edge. And because that material is so hard, it basically just burns the edge, so I get this little chamfer, but it's all burnt. And, trying to clean that up with a orbital sander, especially like the Dynabrade or something like that, that's relatively aggressive. It's a little sketchy. Because, you have this rotation and you're bearing down on only this 1/16 of an inch. And any little bit of movement, you're going to be really drastically changing the shape of that. The nice thing that I found about the 3x4 sanders is that they're a little more gentle.
Yes.
It's definitely not an aggressive sander. I'm sure if you put 100 grit on there or something, you could move a lot of material, but with a piece of 150 or 220, you could just hit these edges and remain really controlled because it's a really small form factor. It's basically like gripping like a baseball, and you just have this little 3x4 pad that's orbiting.
I like it.
Yeah.
I never had one before, and it's definitely changed the way I approach, especially the prep work with the painting, and things like that.
Yeah, it's scary with an orbital sander on paint and stuff. I feel like you burn through a lot faster than you do with this, and this really moves primer and paint, but doesn't sand through really quickly. It's much easier to control. So yeah, I've been really happy with them.
Yeah, if you've never tried one, it's definitely something I would recommend.
Yeah. And, we haven't tried any of their other sanders. But just judging by these, I'm sure you'd be, if you're in the market for an orbital, they have the paddle style orbitals. I give them a shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like anything. They're, you're not going to get it for the price of a DeWalt.
No.
But if you're like us, you own Festool, you own Dynabrade, you own, nice expensive sanders, these are on par. This is, you get what you pay for when it comes to a sander.
This is high quality stuff.
Yeah. People walk by, it sounds like they're inside the shop.
Yeah. I heard that right through my headphones.
Got that nice thin window right there. So yeah, I made my baked corn muffins this morning.
That sounds good.
Only 12 though. So my mom, we're all bringing stuff, and she's like, "Oh, can you bring corn muffins?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool." So my wife's gluten free, so I put on the shopping list gluten-free corn muffin mix. And she only bought one box, which only made 12 corn muffins.
Yeah.
There's 8 people. I feel like that's not going to cut it.
No. And what size muffin is it?
Just like a regular cupcake, cupcake size.
Yeah. Not like that Mondo bodega size muffin.
No, that's more like a breakfast muffin, I feel like, and less like a side dish muffin. So I don't know if I go get another box of that. Oh, but what I was getting at is I made some John Peters honey butter.
That sounds good.
On the side with that really dark honey.
Yeah, when I go home, I'm going to make some toast and put that on.
Yeah, oh yeah, butter and honey. I love that.
Yeah, I got to go home and see what kind of turkey my wife brought back.
Yeah, it's not frozen, is it?
No.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're fucked if it is.
Yeah.
They take forever to
I know.
defrost.
I know. Yeah, it's all wrapped up. I got to take it apart and see what's in there.
I got to make deviled eggs. I made my sweet potatoes on Sunday, froze them, which I'm not against. Froze them, pulled them out this morning, put them in the fridge, and then I'll put the marshmallows on top tomorrow morning before we leave. Which, don't be a snob on Thanksgiving. We were talking about this. Put the marshmallows on the sweet potatoes.
Do you line up your marshmallows or you just dump them on?
Well, I'm using full size, but I'm going to cut them in half.
Okay.
Because they have that cornstarch or whatever on the outside. So it's like the mini marshmallows is like too much of that cornstarch, I feel like.
Yeah.
That's an America's Test Kitchen trick. So cut them in half and put them on top.
Line them up like little soldiers.
Yeah. I think Allie's making a flan. She's gluten-free, no pie.
Yeah.
She did show, I woke up and there was a pie on the counter. It says gluten-free cherry. I don't know if Mallory gets them for Thanksgiving or.
Yeah, I feel like I've had one. I think I might have gotten it at Whole Foods or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think they have gluten-free pies, like fruit pies.
Yeah. I know where she used to work, the owner would always get them like a Delicious Orchards pie.
Oh, yeah.
So it might be from there, I'm sure. I mean, a lot of places do gluten-free stuff now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're getting flourless chocolate something or other.
You guys got the most unorthodox Thanksgiving.
Yeah. You know, growing up, I never had a turkey. We had Italian food.
What'd you eat, lasagna?
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody would always bring a lasagna, but.
Yeah. I never had a turkey till I was, an adult.
Turkey's the least of my concerns. If there was no turkey on Thanksgiving, I'd be fine. But you got to have no stuffing is crazy.
Yeah. I didn't grow up with any of the American style Thanksgiving fixins.
Which is funny because it's such an American holiday. It's like you figure that everybody would just, for that one day adopt the...
Yeah, my mom was a stubborn cook.
Like, why even celebrate Thanksgiving at that point? It's like, just don't do it.
Yeah. I mean, you guys know I come from sort of like an immigrant upbringing, but I bet all the modern immigrants got turkeys on the table.
Yeah.
I mean, all the Hispanic immigrants, they're not serving, well, maybe they are, but I'm supposing they got turkeys on the table.
Yeah.
They might have their version of the lasagna on the side, the second table stuff.
Yeah. I think tamales are pretty popular on Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like a good tamale.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to have the lard in there, though. If they don't have lard, I don't want them. My sister-in-law makes them, and she's vegetarian. Well, they're like pescatarian, I guess, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're
no lard in there.
Yeah, no. They're gotta have some kind of good grease in there.
Yes.
Not like vegetable oil.
Yeah.
Bacon fat, lard, something good.
Yeah, I told you about the tamale lady that used to come by the motorcycle club meetings.
Yeah.
She'd have like one of those igloo coolers, the kind that had like that pyramid kind of top on it that looks like a little house.
Oh, yeah.
She'd have one of those just loaded up with little tamales stacked up in there.
Where you press the button and the thing pivots. Yeah.
$1 each.
Yeah.
Well, can you imagine how many tamales you'd eat?
Yeah.
They were good too. You know, you open that thing up, steam's pumping out of there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Man, they didn't pick up our fucking dumpster yet.
Yeah, I forgot all about it.
What's going on?
The one day we needed it early,
I know.
they're not here.
Let me check the tracking. We got tracking on the truck.
Does it still say 6 stops?
I'm about to find out. If it does, that's...
Bad sign.
Yeah. Yeah, it does say 6 stops. Might have to wait until Friday.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I can just shoot back over here and bring it in. What's up with that? Usually they pick it up so early.
Right. We asked them to like maybe come a little bit later that time, and they were like,
I mean, it shows like where the truck is allegedly. And it shows it's like in...
Is it in town?
It's in like Leonardo. But it still says your truck has 6 more stops. But it's been... That's where the truck has been the entire time.
Since early this morning.
Yeah. It's like kind of like over by my house. Yeah, it shows it's on East Road. That just must be the first stop. What's over there on East Road? I don't know. What?
Take a look out the window.
No, that's not. That was like a pedestrian diesel truck. Well, I guess at that we'll bid you farewell.
Yeah, going to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Happy Black Friday.
Yeah.
Spend some money at a small business.
Yeah, that's a good recommendation.
Yeah, I think Saturday they call Small Business Saturday.
Oh.
So screw Black Friday. Don't give those corporate pigs your money. Spend some money with a small business on Saturday. You're going to get something that's better quality, and you're going to be helping somebody close to home versus some.
Most of that money gets back into the community too.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise you're just lining some CEO's pockets.
And we'll leave you with that note.
Yeah. Don't eat too much. Well, if you're hearing this, it's too late. You
Yes.
Get back on the saddle on Monday.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Take care.
We truly appreciate you listening. If you want to support the show, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Share the show with your friends, or consider subscribing to our Patreon. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.